Well, welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. I am delighted to have with us today Mike Fonseca of Soberlink. I have gotten the pleasure of meeting Mike directly in person a few times at a couple conferences. And Mike really has a lot to tell us about alcohol testing. And because he works for Soberlink and he has a lot of he's always crisscrossing the country and probably globally to try to explain to people why this is a product that can really help families and protect children in a lot of different ways. So welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Krista. Pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, I've been planning on doing this for a long time. If you're a long-term listener, you know that I did about 5 episodes early on about a year ago, maybe more than a year ago now, where we talked about substance use valuations and research into sobriety issues in family law. So I would remind everyone to go backwards and take a look at those if you haven't, take a listen to those. But I've been trying to get Soberlink and get our schedules together for quite a while. So, Mike, tell us a little bit. Just give us some framing to start. Like, what is Soberlink for people who've never heard of it, and why is it important in family law?
Sure. So Soberlink is a 16-year-old alcohol monitoring company based on hardware and software. And it's a system to help prove abstinence, whether in family law specifically, whether it's a known issue or someone who's falsely being accused, we can prove and document that someone doesn't have an issue preemptively. So we get used in several cases that way. And then we also have the capability of keeping someone abstaining from alcohol full time or just during their parenting time visitations to allow unsupervised visitations.
Okay, and so it's a breathalyzer basically, but it has visual, like facial recognition, right? Walk us through like what the actual product is, so people can kind
Sure.
of get it in their heads what this thing is and does.
So in 16 years, we're on generation 7. We've had a lot of technology built into it, even though it looks very similar. Um, it's a handheld breath device. When you blow into it for 4 seconds unobstructedly, at the end of the 4th second, it takes your photograph. We do 100% of the facial recognition. And in real time, we send compliance reports via text or email, letting parents or custodians for the child, whoever's responsible for the child's safety, letting them know that we confirm that's the person that's supposed to be testing and they are alcohol free at that particular test in real time. So it's really important to frame it and have court orders and agreements written for success. So first thing is we're an FDA cleared medical device. We are HIPAA compliant. Our information is extremely private, and our data that we give clients in the courts, we will absolutely testify to. It is real information. A lot of the products that are out there, they're toy breathalyzers or they're consumer grade, not government grade, or someone to hold people accountable. Extremely easy to manipulate. I mentioned we're on generation 7, and the device is one of the only ones used in family law that has an embedded camera. So a lot of the products that are out there require a smartphone to take a streaming video of yourself blowing into a small breathalyzer or a photo every time you're blowing into it as confirmation. But there's a break in chain of custody at that point because they're Bluetooth, people could attain 2 devices, pretend like they're blowing into one, and there's someone outside of camera range in Bluetooth range submitting their test for them. And we know this happens on a regular basis with some competitors. And I don't want to name names, but the other competitors that are trying to get into the family law space. The other thing is we have patents on temperature, pressure, and also humidity. So we get people trying to falsify air samples using canned compressed air. They will literally drill a hole in the bottom of the mouthpiece outside of camera range. And every test that gets taken that's not human breath gets flagged. We will chart it out next to a client's test history, and we will deem it as a tamper based on the data that we are given. So we can tell if it's not real breath samples or if it's falsified air.
I had one
The biggest
case.
thing,
Oh, go ahead. Say your biggest thing first. And I'll
yeah,
tell you,
the
tell you my
biggest thing
story.
too is the facial recognition. We take that upon us to confirm identity. Some of the cheaper products that are wanting to be used, and I will always tell people to stay away from them because they're so easy to game, is it requires the concerned party, we call her the ex-spouse, to confirm identity. So let's say I'm dad and I'm testing with one of these cheaper products. I submit a test and it could be somebody else testing. And my wife or ex-wife is responsible for looking at 3 or 4 of my tests every day when she doesn't have the child. One, she's looking at these photos and videos, so it's a privacy issue. She could be posting these things, ridiculing me on social media,
Mm.
but we keep this all this private. We do the confirmation for clients, and it's just really important to know that we are taking upon us. A parent might be off on vacation with their new significant other, and they might not be looking at the results. They might not be looking at them in real time. So we want to make sure that the accountability is real, and we do this for all clients in the courts. So most people test 3 times per day, but in high risk cases, they test 4 times per day. And I'll back up a little bit too. When we were doing criminal monitoring, our device had a minimum threshold of 0.02 or greater before a positive was alerted. And through addiction experts and through consensus papers that were drafted, we eliminated that. So basically, it's a zero tolerance product. And any alcohol that's detected will show as a positive, and we just treat it that way, more of a healthcare purpose. And in family law, the same thing. People don't want to know if they're 0.12 or 0.15 or 0.08. It's are they abstaining or not. So
Mhm.
we're able to test fewer times per day based on that theory as well. In high risk cases, if it's a known issue, small children, there's been history of drinking and driving or just abuse of some form. They typically test 4 times a day with a 1 hour compliance window. Like I mentioned, the most important are first thing in the morning, last thing at night. And then we'd spread 2 tests out throughout the course of the day. So they're basically testing every 5 to 6 hours they're awake.
Mhm.
And most people test, most clients fall under a mid risk, and they would test 3 times per day. Again, 8 hours, you carve it out, and then once throughout the course of the day, spread out.
So
And
tell me
a
just
lot.
about that side. Like if you
Yeah.
you got somebody that's just in denial and they're trying to claim that the tests are crap and whatever. Tell me about when did you go to court, how
Yeah.
Soberlink can help.
Let me walk you through kind of how positive testing works.
Okay.
So when someone tests positive on our device, first of all, they sign a client user agreement before we onboard them. And it's important things to Soberlink's criteria, like don't have someone else test for you, abstain from products that contain alcohol before testing, don't eat or drink anything 15 minutes before, don't obstruct the camera. And I think the most important item that they sign and agree to is failure to retest after a positive test is equal to non-compliant or a positive.
Mhm.
Because when someone tests positive on Soberlink, we don't send a notification out to the contacts. They're contractually obligated to retest in 15 minutes, and they have to retest every 15 minutes until alcohol eliminates or provide 6 additional retests. And those markers are what tell us if it's truly incidental mouth alcohol. Probably heard the excuse mouthwash.
I was gonna ask you. I actually just wrote my notes, mouthwash,
Uh,
because I hear
oh
this
yeah.
all the time, or I heard something about Lysol in the air. That people are
And
always saying it's a false positive because I had
I,
mouthwash.
the last one I heard last week was new, that somebody was smoking ribs and that's why they tested positive. And it's just, yeah, I wish they did a
Yeah,
little more
yeah,
research.
with the beer on the side.
Anyhow, the retest is what tells us if it's truly consumption or not. I can tell you 100% of the time, if someone uses mouthwash with alcohol, which is just under 30% alcohol by volume, without drinking it, just in their mouth, they swish it, they spit it out. They test positive. The device tells them that a retest is required. But by the way, the device locks them out. In 15 minutes, it'll reopen and prompt the retest without rinsing your mouth with water 100% of the time. The secondary test will show zeros or compliant, and that's the only notification we send to contacts. There's no need to unnecessarily alarm someone for truly incidental mouth alcohol.